Hi guys, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to connect any flight controller to the SpeedyBee application, which is absolutely awesome, as you can tell right there. So you can basically have Betaflight in your phone and just wirelessly all the time and ready to go. So enough talking, let's just jump to it. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So many of you probably seen this new flight controller called the SpeedyBee flight controller, and it comes with this super awesome phone app which is basically Betaflight on your phone. Now back then there was also another app called EasyGUI or something like that, and that one was okay, but this one is just on a whole new level. They basically put Betaflight in your phone, the whole configurator. It just looks absolutely awesome. Now many of you have some pre-built quads, or just you guys built your quads and you don't really want to go and change every flight controller to enable this feature. So there's a simple way to do this, which is buying this little module right here. Now I highly recommend you get the same one I'm getting here, because some of them come with different software on them, and you know, the software can create a lot of problems if you don't know how to deal with these, especially when you have to change it from master to slave mode, change the baud rates and all that kind of crazy things. So I highly recommend you get it from where I got it, which was superly pleasant. I thought I was going to sit here and start programming it, but it was just plain straightforward. The default software on this is working exactly how we want it, and all you need to do is solder 4 wires to this guy, 4 wires to your flight controller, and just click a couple buttons in Betaflight, and now you can connect via your phone to it. So let's get started. Now what we need is we need four pads, and one pad is going to be VCC, which is voltage, power, and it does not take 5 volts. So if you put 5 volts, you're going to burn this guy out. So you have to put the 3.3 volts for this guy, just like a Spectrum receiver. So you want to power him with 3.3 volts. You want to give him ground, and you want to find the RX and the TX pin, which will be connected to the flight controller. So let's get started here. Alright, so how do we know which pad is which, and how the heck are we going to solder to this guy? So it's very simple. There's the back here, and the counting starts while looking at it like this. So it goes like so. It goes 1 through 9, and 1 through 8, and then 8, and then 9 through 12 here. And what we need is pins 2, 4, 9, and 12, as I believe. Let's just double check here. Okay, so pin 2 is the TX port. I'll leave a graph here. So pin 2 is the TX port on this guy, and which is right there, the second one, and then pin 4 would be the RX, and then for the VCC, which would be this one, which would be the 3.3 volts, and the ground would be 12, so 10, 11, 12, so that would be ground. All right, so let's just get started now. Let's prepare this guy. So what I like to do is I like to flip him over and then prepare my soldering iron, and then I hit up all these pads so I don't risk, I'll show you the way I do it. You just hit up all the pads, and then you're good to go, and then I'll show you how to solder wires to this. You got to be very careful, and you got to keep the wire leads pretty short so you don't short circuit anything. Alright, so while the soldering station heats up, let's take a look at the flight controller, how this would be connected. And I have a Dal RC F4 F405 all-in-one flight controller. Now I utilized RX4 because you're going to need a UART where the TX and the RX are available, but the same number. If you don't know what that is, I'm pretty sure most of you possibly know by now. So I used here RX4 and TX4, as you could tell right there. These are where I soldered. These are what's going to be receiving and sending data to the flight controller from the application through the Bluetooth module. And for power, as you can tell here, I gave it 3.3 volts. And the ground is right there. So obviously I still haven't connected them. We're about to solder them right now. So I'm just wanted to show you guys how to solder this guy the best way possible. There's a lot of other ways to do this, but this is what I find to work best for me, and it's just super simple for a lot of people. All right, so the soldering station is ready, and what I like to do is I just put my finger there, and then just prepare this guy, and then just go across, and then you're gonna see him bridge. That's perfect. I really like that they bridge, so you can see how I go about doing it. Clean up the tip and just pull away. And then if it's being a little pain for you to pull away, make sure you do this from the back side, because if you do it from the front side, you're gonna be screwed, because it's super close to everything. As you can tell here, you barely have enough room to do anything. So we want to do it from here. Same thing. So let's just put finger there. All right, beautiful. All right, so you see a bridge right there, and just pull that off like so. all we need is 4 of these pads anyways right now. So this thing is very cool. You could do a lot of awesome things. Maybe later on we could play with this because I got a couple more, and they're pretty cheap also. I'll leave a link to it down below. It's like $6 for one, but I got the 3-pack, which was like, I think $12 or something. It was just super cheap, so I really like these, and plus these are just awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and prepare the setup for the wires. So let's grab the flight controller now, and we said we need pin 2 and 4 first. So pin 2 is TX, which would be the second one down from here. Now I truly do recommend you get a helping hand. So it's the second pin right there. So if we flip this, it'll be the second one right there. So let's go ahead and just zoom out here. All right, so I'm just double checking. Okay, it's the one towards me now. All right, so we said this is the pin 2 right now. If we flipped it over, this would be pin 2. It's the one facing towards us. And what we want to do is, this is the TX pin on this. So TX is going to go to the RX on the flight controller. So pin 2 here is going to go to the RX, and let me find my RX. So here's my RX4. I'm using RX4 here. And all I have to do is solder this guy right there. So let's just do it. What I like to do is I like to just hold it next to it, because there's like this little concave in them. I just hold it and then just touch it, and it'll just sink right in. And there we go. But I really want this a little bit higher. Beautiful. So that's perfect. Now we need to grab the RX, which is going to be 4. So RX on this guy is 4. So 4 is going to go to the TX here. So TX4, where's TX4? It's going to be this blue one here. And we're just going to count down. Since we already know this is 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be this one right there. All right. So those are in, and now what we need to do is we need VCC and ground. Now VCC, I already know, it's this bottom one all the way there. Now VCC is the 3.3 volt, and as you can tell, I took 3.3 volts from the flight controller, and I'm gonna set that up like so. Okay, it's good. And nope, it's not good. Can be a little bit tricky sometimes, so just take your time. Okay, that's good. All right, so I know for a fact that ground is pad number 12, which is, since this one's 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's going to be this one right there. Nine, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this. Okay. Nothing is bridging. Looks nice. Everything is connected good, nice and firmly. All right, so that's awesome. All right, guys, so I've gone ahead and double checked everything. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the flight controller just once again. Now, if you could see here, I'm using the TX4 and the RX4 right there. And for power, I'm using the 3.3 volt regulator and the ground. Obviously, you're gonna need ground. And these pads are available on every single flight controller. So you can do this to F3s, F4s, F7s, anything. You can do this to anything as long as you have a UART available and a 3.3 volt regulator on board. And a lot of flight controllers, like 98% of flight controllers, have a 3.3 volt regulator for spectrum-based satellites, receivers. So you're going to be good in that perspective. So that's what we did. We utilized the 3.3 volt regulator for the spectrum receivers, and we took one of the UARTs. And this is how your guys should look like right there. Pretty awesome. So now the next step is we need to jump into Betaflight and set this up, and then we grab our phone and just connect. It's just that simple. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, guys. So once everything is soldered into place, you need to connect your flight controller via USB to your PC so we can set up the flight controller. So I have mine connected now, and you're just going to connect into Betaflight and just wait for it to open. There we go. And what you want to do is you want to go to the ports tab, which is very important, and you want to take note of which UART and which RX and TX you use. I use the 4, so RX4 and TX4, which is UART 4. And what you want to do is you want to enable this right there, and you want to change this to 9600. You could use higher baud rates, but not now. You have to know how to program these in order to enable higher baud rate. But this is going to do just fine unless you're pulling some kind of a black box log. I don't think you can, but you possibly can through the app. I don't remember. But this is going to work perfect. So you just set that up. Mine was on UART 4. If yours was RX3 and TX3, you would want to use that. And that's it. You just want to save and reboot. And we're going to go ahead. Okay, it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect, and let's just jump to the phone. All right, guys. So once Betaflight configuration is complete, you set up the ports tab. Now what you need to do is obviously power it up with a battery or whatever. I'm just going to power it up with USB. I know the 3.3 volt regulator works with the USB power, so there we go. So now in theory, there's no LED notifications, there's no LED statuses, just you got to hope that you did everything right here. So that's it. That's all you got to do here. And then we're going to go ahead and open up the app. So let's do that now. All right, so here's the app. You want to go ahead and click it. And okay, let's just zoom out a little bit here. All right, so we go ahead and clicked it. And now what you want to do is you want to click Bluetooth. And I'll leave a link to this app down below. And there it is. So we're just going to go ahead and connect. And there you go. See, as you can tell, let's go to the ports tab here. That's because I clicked that. So let's go ahead and see this. There we go. So as you can tell here, we could control everything in Betaflight, which is super awesome. Here's the ports tab. And as you can tell here, if we scroll down, there it is at 9,000. That's what we did right now, which is pretty cool. And you could just do everything. Your receiver, your transmitter, whatever. That's just absolutely awesome. I really love this. When I saw it, I was like, oh, I have to figure out a way to do this. And with the older modules, the Bluetooth modules I was testing with, such as these, it wasn't working. And that's why I picked up some of these. These are BLE, which is Bluetooth 4.0. And it's just absolutely awesome. And that's really it. That's all you have to do. It's just insane. 4 wires and $6. And you're good to go. That's it. So that's going to conclude it for this video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I really hope it helped someone out there. And please, if you don't know anything into this stuff and Arduinos and all that kind of crazy stuff, just get the exact ones I got, because you can get the same thing from different places and they'll have different firmware, they'll have different setups, there'll be different version, and it could be just a nightmare. However, in our case, this one we just lucked out, and it was just absolutely beautiful. It took a while to figure out what baud rate it was running on, and yeah, that's it. This is the default firmware from the same place where I got it, which is Banggood. I'll leave a link to it down below. You can get it for $6, or you can get like 3 for like $12 or $14. I forgot, but I got the 3 of them, so because I'm going to be using this. Now, what you can do also is you can utilize this. You could just buy one and use some type of JST connector in all your quads, and then just bring it and plug it in if you don't want to keep this on your quad at all times. But it's just so small, so tiny, and so light. It's just it's just awesome. Really, it's really awesome. And yeah, that's really it. So as you can tell, so yeah, so we can see I'm moving the flight controller. And you can see the gyro, or the accelerometer. No, it's the gyro. You can see the gyros go ahead and do everything. So I just left it, and it's going absolutely beautiful. And that's it, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. See you guys. Take care.